Hi, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. This is the most important thing you can listen to today.
Here's the one.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I could do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella story out of nowhere.
It's in the hole. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Capital Hacking begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Josh McCown. Welcome to Capital Hacking and welcome to Mindset Monday. You know, the mind and the power of the human capital is something we go through and journey with each entrepreneur we talk to each week. And in episode 308, we met Kevin Taylor, the gentleman who was a banker, an entrepreneur for 30 years, built a bank, and now is an elite EOS implementer. Today begins his journey as a teacher, where he's going to pull out the kernels, the gold, the nuggets, and share them with you and I on how we can make some powerful choices today to change our trajectory of the rest of our lives. So let us know how you like it. Check out episode 308 and find out more about Kevin and dig in deep. Let's go.
Welcome to the Capital Hacking Podcast. My name is Kevin Taylor, and I will be your host for today. When we talk about capital, there's different forms of capital. I tend to talk about mental capital. So that's things around mindset and the psychology behind things. And I typically get my information from books that I read, podcasts that I listen to. Occasionally, I'll take something from a documentary that I watched. And so if you've listened to this podcast before and listened to episode 328, titled Death, Taxes, and a Few Other Things, we discussed some insights I got from Morgan Housel's newest book, Same as Ever, A Guide to What Never Changes. In today's episode, I'm going to be diving into the first book I read by Morgan Housel, which is The Psychology of Money. These are timeless concepts and lessons on wealth, greed, and happiness. So there's a lot of great nuggets in this book. I've pulled out about 17 of them to discuss with you today, and I refer to them as lessons. So here we go with lesson number one. Lesson one is our worldview is limited. So what we experience is just a tiny part of what's happening worldwide, but it shapes how we see things 80% of the time. And this is especially true regarding money because our experiences shape our attitudes and beliefs. If we recognize that our experiences are limited, we can be more open to new ideas and perspectives. So what I do is I kind of equate this to why it's beneficial to travel. Love traveling. It's one of our favorite things to do as a family. And I tell people, pretend the world as we know it is a book. If you stay put in the city or town that you're born in, you may not get past the first page. But you can view different cities like finishing the forward of the book and getting into the main content. Visiting different states could be viewed as a new chapter of the book. But where the book gets really good is when you start to visit different countries and experience different customs and ethnicities the world has to offer. So that's a lesson that I've taken from the book, and it's one that I try to live by traveling often. Lesson number two is luck versus risk. Know the difference. So knowing the difference between luck and risk is essential when making financial decisions. Sometimes bad luck can mess up a good decision, and sometimes good luck can make a wrong decision look good. Understanding the difference between luck and risk can help you make better decisions and avoid unnecessary risk. Lesson number three is around tail events. So most financial success can be attributed to a few tail events. A small number of significant events or decisions often have an outsized impacts on your financial income. Anyone who has had financial success can look back and remember those few events that led to the success they have today. The way I like to say it is it's a lot easier connecting the dots when looking backwards. It's really hard to connect the dots looking forward because you don't know what's going to happen. So a lot easier connecting the dots looking backwards. Lesson four is don't risk what's important. And so when you're saying what's important, it's things like our reputation, our freedom, our family, our friends. and happiness. They're never worth risking. Lesson number 5 was around financial success. So financial success is not a hard science. It's a soft skill where how you behave is more important than what you know. Even highly intelligent people can make poor financial decisions if they let emotions and biases drive their choices. Lesson number 6 is freedom, and freedom is key. So building freedom in your life is essential. Even if you love your job, you should focus on building freedom because things can change quickly. Boy, do I know that. Lesson 7 is nobody cares about your stuff. So we think material things will impress others, but no one really cares. It's liberating to realize that we don't need to impress anyone. There's a Dave Ramsey quote that I love. It goes something like, broke people spend money they don't have to impress people they don't know or like. And lesson 8 is be wealthy, not flashy. And so true wealth is measured by freedom, not by how much money you spend. You should focus on building wealth to live life on your terms. I heard it said a different way, and it's don't focus on being rich, focus on being wealthy. And a few people know the difference. So rich is having a high income helps you to afford to buy the luxuries of life, like fancy cars, expensive homes, lavish vacations, talking about vacations earlier. Wealthy people focus on buying assets that generate income and appreciate over time, things like real estate and businesses. And then they have their assets pay for the luxuries of life. Now, I'm not saying you can't be rich and wealthy at the same time. It's just wealthy people focus on accumulating assets first, luxuries second. Lesson 9 is understand your biases. So we all have biases that affect our financial decisions. So recognizing these biases and working to overcome them can help us make better choices. Lesson 10 is money is not the goal, it's a means to an end. And so money is just a tool that helps us achieve our goals. It's not the end goal in itself. Focus on what you want to use the money for to get there. So another way I heard it put is money is a problem solver, because if you have money to solve a problem, you don't have a problem. Lesson 11 was don't follow the herd. Just because everyone else is doing something doesn't mean it's right for you. There's always that FOMO that pops up and you want to jump into something. I have an issue of doing this too, of the FOMO part of it, but just because everyone else is doing it, it's not meant for you. So it says avoid the herd mentality. Make financial decisions based on your goals and values. So this reminds me of a phrase I've heard and I repeat often, which says, when you're crystal clear on your vision, mission, and values, it makes your yes/no decisions so much easier. There's also a famous quote that Warren Buffett says that it is wise to be fearful when others are greedy and to be greedy only when others are fearful. Lesson 12 talks about the value of simplicity. So simple financial strategies are often the most effective. Avoid overly complicated investments or strategies that are difficult to understand. This is why I love what I do when I help companies get more of what they want from their businesses by using simple, practical, and proven tools of EOS. If you don't know what that is, hit me up, Kevin.Taylor at EOS Worldwide. I'd be happy to explain it to you.
Hello, this is Josh, and Melanie and I and the entire team of Accountable Equity are extremely excited to tell you that Learn and Grow August 24th at Renault Winery will probably be the best one ever, largest one. We're bringing keynote speakers in like Directed IRA, one of the biggest Directed IRA groups in America. Matt Sorensen, CEO, famous podcaster. He's going to be coming in. We'll have Mike Pine, the strategist behind all the incredible tax savings strategies within the funds at Accountable Equity, and so many more. We can't wait to introduce you to them. And by the way, there'll be 3 or 4 other surprises. We'll have culinary experiences, entertainment experiences, and a lot of fun. Oh, there may even be massages. Can't wait to get you. Sign up below. We appreciate you.
Hey, this is Matt Sorensen, author of the Self-Directed IRA Handbook, CEO at Directed IRA. You're listening to the best podcast, the Capital Hacking Podcast.
Lesson 13 is make peace with risk. So risk is a natural part of investing. And this is a saying I've quoted several times, goes something like this: stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start thinking about what could go right. So What I mean by that's outlined in this book, where it says, instead of avoiding risk, learn to manage and accept it. Don't let the fear of risk prevent you from achieving your financial goals. Lesson 14 is the power of stories. So people understand and remember stories better than facts and figures. So crafting a compelling narrative about your financial life can help you stick to your financial goals. When I read that, I thought about vivid vision. And if you're not familiar with what a vivid vision is, it's outlined in a book by Cameron Herold titled Vivid Vision. And I'll explain it briefly here. I'll probably do a whole podcast on it later. But a vivid vision is visualizing your life typically 3 years out vividly, just like it says. And so if today is January 1st, 2024, you're looking 3 years out. You'll say, this is January 1st, 2027. And you explain what your life looks like 3 years out. And you start to paint this picture, this vivid vision of it. And it's a story concept, which makes it a lot easier to remember and to see it. Lesson 15 is invest in yourself, which is what you're doing right now by listening to this podcast. So investing in yourself, whether it's through education, personal development, or health, is one of the best investments you can make because no one can take it from you. Lesson 16 is learn from mistakes. So we all make mistakes. The key is to learn from them. Analyze your financial mistakes. Use them as learning opportunities to make better decisions in the future. Man, I've made my fair share of mistakes. And one that comes to mind most recently was a decision my wife and I made together on opening a restaurant. And boy, we learned a lot of stuff in doing that. And now the joke is, I tell people, if you want to make $1 million in the restaurant business, start with 2 million. You're going to burn through that first one pretty quick. But what I realized was a lot of the stuff that we learned, I don't know that you could have told me and it would have sunk in as much as it did experiencing it. And I wish it did, because it would have saved us a lot of money doing that. But if someone were to ask, do you regret doing or the decisions that you made? I kind of want to say, no, I don't, because we learned so much. It was an expensive lesson, but we learned so much in doing it. And that's just, part of life and part of making decisions is learning from them. And I'm also reminded by a Napoleon Hill quote that says, in every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. So now when things that happen to me, I'm always thinking, I wonder what the seed of equal or greater benefit is going to be from this one. So anyway, that's what I took from learning from your mistakes. All right, last one, lesson 17 is stay humble. So no matter how successful you become, always stay humble. Be grateful for what you have. Remember, there's always more to learn. I last heard this from Gino Wickman. I think he got it from C.S. Lewis, but it goes something like this. Being humble isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. So be humble. That's all I have for you today. If you like what you heard, come back next week for more mental capital around mindset and psychology. If you love what you heard today, give us a 5-star rating and review. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, ask yourself, what can you be doing to create a better mindset and add value to the world around you?
Damn straight. We just got we got to the end of another great show. And everyone listening right now, you're the family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.